It's time for another edition of Pet Talk with the Nebraska Humane Society.
Price tags can be potential safety hazards. What else should you pay closer attention to when dogs are around this holiday season?
Pet behavior specialist Cathy Guinane is here with Holiday Heads Up. Good morning, Cathy.
Hey,
Good
Cathy.
morning. How are you?
Timon, and I think this is the first time you brought in a new mommy.
This is a new mommy. She had just raised 7 puppies. She came in as a stray and was in foster care to raise 7 puppies. And they're lovely puppies, and she is a wonderful dog. She was a lovely mom, and she's just got a great personality and very calm.
The puppies have all been adopted by now, so we just need to find her
Just your
a
turn.
home. Is there any type of family you would recommend for her based on her size, age, those things?
At this point, she seems very calm. That may change a little bit when she gets in a home. She's not huge, so maybe kids that are better on their feet, 6 and up type or 8 and up, just because if somebody landed on her, it could hurt her. She's not super huge, but she would love walks and being part of your family.
And she seems disciplined because, you know, some dogs are quick to jump on the couch, and we don't mind that, but you said that's not in her nature.
No, she does not want to get up on your lap. She doesn't want to jump up on the furniture, and it's like, well, I'm not going to force you to because somewhere you've probably been taught not to.
Yeah, so for a family looking for
somebody, she was a good dog for somebody at one time.
Yes.
She's just looking for another home.
That's right.
All right, the holidays can be fun, but they can be scary for dogs too. Whether
Absolutely.
it's people, you know, all kinds of stuff going on.
Right.
What are the issues?
Well, and especially with people, if you have company over and they're not used to that, that's a lot of people coming into their territory that they may not be used to. And that can be it can be hazardous too, because if they get too scared, they may want to nip out and bite.
There's also a lot of food out on
Yes.
tables and countertops,
yes.
and the aromas that fill. We
It's
love
great.
all of those aromas,
Yes.
but our dogs, they might get a little more intrigued than they would any other time of year. How do
Absolutely.
we make sure that they're not pulling stuff off the counters and tables and
It's
things
one
out
of
of
those,
reach?
somebody gets to be in charge of the dog, so that way the dog is, put the dog on leash, keep the dog near someone. If nobody can actually watch the dog, put the dog in the other room in a kennel or just in the room so they can't get out, and give them a good bone or Kong or radio on or something, so they don't feel like they're missing out on something.
You think kenneling the dog when you have a lot of people over is a good idea?
It can help a lot, especially if nobody can directly watch the dog. You don't want them door dashing because they can run out the street
Do you
and get
see
hit by a
that?
car.
Do you see an increase around the holidays of dogs coming into the shelter because they've run away?
There can be, yes.
We have some other tips, by the way, that Cathy brought us. Some things for you to chew on, and I mentioned price tags.
Oh, yes.
What else would you say would be considered a dangerous? Because I don't think about that as dangerous, but if they're choking on it, it certainly is.
Absolutely.
What else would you give us a heads up on?
Pine needles. That can be a very hazardous thing. Certain types of foods can be hazardous. If they get grapes or raisins, something like that, they can make them really,
Never
really
good
sick.
for dogs. And I like this last tip right here, new toys and bones for your dog, because there are items that can be harmful to your dog, especially if you don't watch them when they're chewing on these things, they're eating them.
Absolutely. And it's fun to have something new. It will occupy them as well and give them something to do, but be careful. Be sure it's something that will be safe if you're going to leave them on their own. But sometimes it's just enough. Also be careful if you've got a lot of little kids around and they have a new toy and a little kid tries to come up. We don't want the dog to guard it. It could get kind of ugly.
You know those bones, those rawhide bones or whatever, a lot of times dogs chew those up and they'll swallow them.
Yes.
And that creates big problems.
It can be
you can
big
end up with a
problems.
big vet bill.
It can be. Finding bones that you can maybe put a little peanut butter on or put a little bit of mashed potatoes around, that they aren't going to ingest the bone. They lick off the good stuff.
And
that's
then they
safe
leave
for
the
'em.
rest alone.
Yeah.
Action's gotten to that point. We get the ones that have chicken wrapped around them, dried chicken, and he doesn't like the rawhide anymore. He just eats the chicken off of it and then leaves it alone.
Which is okay.
Great. Yeah. There's a way for us to give you a gift, but then have it matched. I was reading about this online. Do you know how it works?
We have someone who will match any donations that are given to us through the end of the year. And so it's very simple. You go ahead and donate, and they'll match it.
It's an anonymous donor, right?
It's an anonymous.
That has decided to match everybody else's gifts.
Yep.
So you give
So you just go on the website
You give
and
10,
then make those
and it'll
donations?
become 20.
Do you have to go to a
20.
special area on the website or just the general donation section?
It probably I don't know if it has its own section or
It's
not.
part
It
of the
may.
rotating banner
Yes.
on the homepage. So if you go to anyhumanesociety.org, there's a rectangular box there. Yeah,
There you
it
go.
is. So you see it there. Have
you
your
click.
donation matched. You can click on the
There you
saddest
go.
puppy I've ever seen, and then
And she
get
got
that
home,
matched.
and she's doing lovely.
That was a real dog. That's not a.
That's a real dog.
A picture you got from one of these companies.
No,
that's a
that's a real dog.
So what do
That's
you
good.
do with the donations that come in? Where is the most need in terms of funding when you got to say we got to pay for this and this?
We've
and
got a
this?
lot. Medical bills are huge. Every dog goes out spay or neutered, microchipped, and as up to date on shots as we can get them. you know, and any other medical things. If they need dentals, you know, we get as much of that as possible.
The Nebraska Humane Society, nehumanesociety.org, 444-7800.
Adoptions
Kathy.
open up at noon.
Yeah,
By the way,
noon.
in case you're
Noon for
interested in
Simone.
this,
She's
sweetie. Thank you, Kathy.
She's a good
Thank
dog.
you.
Have a good
Appreciate you
Thanksgiving.
being
Have a
here.
good, nice turkey day.
Tomorrow.